Hello and welcome to another Planet Destiny State of the Weapon overview. Today we'll be going over sniper rifles, their history, different archetypes, place in the meta, and best perks to go for. Sniper rifles have actually had a pretty boring history as far as changes go. Aside from the global changes to special weapon ammo, the only direct change that they had was a stability reduction during the recent April update, and the lower zoom scopes have had their magnification increased. This is mostly due to snipers having a knowable and defined role. You know when you pick up a sniper rifle that it's going to do some high burst damage, especially if you hit something in the face. Snipers did that at the start of the game, still continue to do that, and will continue to do that in basically every video game until the end of time. So the only changes that have ever happened have been in response to their prevalence in PvP. In PvE, snipers have pretty much always been one of the most effective special weapon classes to pump out high burst damage, aside from that time where shotguns got their PvE damage buffed by 100%, that is. The majority of PvE encounters almost require the use of a sniper as your secondary, especially if you're doing raids. Bosses tend to not like it when you get in melee range, so simply hanging back and pinging them in the head becomes the safest and oftentimes best strategy. But which sniper archetype should you choose to sit back and ping away at bosses' crit spots? In my opinion, the slower archetype of sniper rifles like 1000-Yard Stare or Black Spindle are the best. Snipers are all about precision shots, so no matter the sniper rifle you use, you want to make sure that each shot crits. You need to take the time to aim, fire, let your recoil settle, aim again, repeat. Faster rate of fire weapons like Waylorn's March or Glass Promontory work great in theory, but in practice their stability is the same as pretty much every other sniper rifle out there, so you can't take full advantage of their rate of fire. If you're having to wait the same amount of time between shots, then you might as well use the slower rate of fire archetypes. Of course, if you have a fast rate of fire sniper rifle and enjoy using it, then keep using it. I'm not going to tell you how to spec your character. There isn't much more to say about snipers in PvE. They have simply always been one of the most effective weapons to use if you're trying to burst down a target. For PvP, snipers again have always been a dominant special weapon. Even if you don't have the skill to consistently pull off headshots, their body damage is high enough to do substantial damage to any player and yield a lot of kills. Before we go too deep into PvP, I suppose I should discuss aim assist and how it affects snipers. There's a lot of stuff going around that's just not true. Aim assist is kind of a broad term that we use to discuss a bunch of different behind-the-scenes mechanics. The two main things that you can actually see in-game are reticle stickiness and bullet pull. Reticle stickiness is what happens when you run your reticle over an enemy and your reticle will slow down a bit, allowing for more precise aiming. Bullet pull is what happens when you have your reticle close to someone and the game says, you were close enough, that shot can register. It will also affect where a shot will register to a degree. Both of these explanations are a little simplistic, and the blanket term of aim assist covers so much more than those two things. The main reason I briefly told you about aim assist is to show you how it works on snipers. Bullet pull is noticeable on essentially every single weapon in the game, except snipers. The only part of aim assist for snipers that you can really see and feel in the game is reticle stickiness, so the reason having an aim assist above 50 for snipers is so highly valued is because it gives you a little bit more control with dragging your scope across someone's head and a slight bit more time to pull the trigger. For sniper archetypes in PvP, every single type is viable. They all kill in 2 body shots or 1 headshot, so why are medium slow types like LDR, 1000-Yard, or Longbow so dominant? They do have the ability to kill a roaming super with a headshot, which is always a great utility to have in your kit. However, I think it's just due to something much simpler: body shot damage. You're much more likely to land a kill on someone that has a little bit of damage on them, and this archetype makes landing a body shot and swapping to your primary to do that last 30 points of damage even easier. I spoke about recoil in the PvE section and how that plays a factor into the high rate of fire types not being used as much. Well, the same thing comes into play in PvP as well. Landing double body shots on a target is possible, but it's difficult without an extremely high stability roll. Plus, you're less likely to finish off lower health targets with a single body shot, unlike the medium slow archetypes of snipers. Another argument I see for high rate of fire type snipers in PvP is that they're a 6v6 weapon, built to take out more targets. In year 1, this made a lot of sense because the higher rate of fire snipers typically had a higher ammo stat. This meant more opportunities to kill targets. But now that the ammo stat has been normalized across all snipers, the only benefit is having one more shot in the magazine, occasionally. The absolute lowest impact variety of snipers will have 5 in the mag, but all others have 3 to 4 depending on impact. One more round in the magazine does not make that much more of a difference in my opinion. I'd rather just have a higher damage per shot. Hopefully, in the future we can see higher rate of fire archetypes also get their mag size buffed to give them some actual reason to being used. This would also help them out in PvE since right now, mag for mag, they don't do near enough damage as their slower rate of fire rifle counterparts. The one other problem I have with snipers in PvP is that they have a really pacifying effect on the overall gameplay. Since they're so effective at dealing massive damage, it makes moving around maps with longer sightlines difficult. You're almost guaranteed to run into someone just waiting for you, and you can only take other routes on a map so many times before you have to challenge a sniper rifle. For sniper vs sniper duels, it's kind of a coin flip, and there is a little bit of skill involved, but that isn't the problem. Challenging a sniper with a primary is probably one of the most frustrating experiences in the game, simply because it never feels like I'm pressuring them enough. You can land headshot after headshot with pulses, scouts, hand cannons, but the sniper user oftentimes can get a body shot or headshot off on you. And I hate saying it since I absolutely love sniping, but sniper rifles do need to have some more drawbacks if you're taking fire in PvP. I wouldn't want yet another PvP change to affect the game in PvE. Alright, now before we go over the perks, I need to dedicate some time to the Hidden Hand perk. Right now, the base aim assist on pretty much every single sniper worth using is more than enough to give you the reticle stickiness that you want. Hidden Hand gives about an extra 15 aim assists, so the only time I really consider using it over other utility perks is when I'm using a scope that decreases aim assist or have a perk that reduces my range by a substantial amount. That doesn't make a weapon bad by stacking aim assist that high, but at the higher levels you're just getting diminishing returns for it. Now for actual perks. Ones like Army of One, Grenadier, Outlaw, Firefly, and Spray and Play are all good perks. There isn't a single downside or a situation where they are bad. For specific PvE perks, the only one I consider a must-have is Triple Tap. Snipers want to chain headshots, and this perk allows you to do that more. A PvE sniper doesn't have to have it on it, but it certainly makes a rifle overperform by being there. The reason Black Hammer was turned into an exotic for Taken King is because refunding ammo in snipers for simply landing headshots is amazing. Pairing Triple Tap with something like Casket Mag to up your ammo even more is great as well. Usually this means you have the possibility of proccing Triple Tap a second time in a single magazine. More ammo means more damage. Another great possibility would be a stability boost like Perfect Balance or Hand-Laid Stock. This makes landing chain headshots easier, and for the higher rate of fire snipers, it allows you to make use of the actual rate of fire of the gun. Slower rate of fire snipers generally have enough time to correct for the recoil between shots, so I don't value it as highly on that archetype. For PvP perks, there are a lot of different possibilities. A lot of people really like going for Hidden Hand, so I'm just going to leave that up to personal choice. For me, the biggest perk to always get is Quick Draw. It allows you to draw your weapon quicker and also allows you to scope in quicker. For PvP, I feel like you want both of those stats to be as high as possible. A special note though, Blade Dancers that use Quick Draw talent are better off just going for Snapshot since the talent and perk don't stack. Outside of the importance of Quick Draw, the other perks are really just personal utility. Life Support, Last Resort, Hot Swap, and Unflinching are all fantastic utility perks, but are largely dependent on your playstyle. I personally really value Hot Swap since it modifies the accuracy stat and allows me to land in-air MLG montage quickscopes easier. But for all practical purposes, it's actually a horrible perk. For my money, I'd say that going for something like Life Support, Quick Draw, and Unflinching on a PvP sniper would be a solid place to start. Finally, this brings us to scopes. I'm going to put this as bluntly as possible. Use whatever scope you want. You can stare at these spreadsheets all day that show aim assist, equip, stability, and range stats, but at the end of the day, the best scope is the one that you like. For a food analogy, I'll happily cook you a steak however you like it. I know the majority like a steak medium rare, but I'm not going to say that you're wrong for enjoying a steak more if it's well done, you savage. Still, I highly recommend going for medium rare or one of the lower zoom scopes like Ambush, Short Gaze, or Longview SLR-10. The lower zoom scopes just work better for all of Destiny's environments, both PvP and PvE. This isn't Arma or Battlefield where we're going for insane distance snipes. Usually it's just stuff mid to scout range. And that's it for the overview. I hope you found this video helpful. The rest of these State of the Weapon videos will be done in the coming weeks by True Vanguard and Fallout Plays, since they have more experience with fusion rifles and shotguns. This has been Patrick Casey with Planet Destiny, your guide to the Destiny universe.